Rhody Roundtable on Your View is sponsored by Rhode Island Medical Imaging.
Welcome to the Rhody Roundtable, brought to us by Rhode Island Imaging. Tonight we take a look back at the historic night of football at Meade Stadium on URI's Kingston campus just a little more than a year ago, 9/7/19. September 7th of last year, it was lights, turf, action at Meade Stadium. A night game for Rhody, first one since 1972 at Meade Stadium. Coming up after our chat, we're going to have the game for you. Delaware and the University of Rhode Island, first league game of the year for Rhode Island and first opportunity for Rhode Island to play under the lights on the new turf at Meade Stadium. It was exciting, a triple overtime thriller. The lights went on at Meade, and Cox was there for it. And Cox, Your View will have that game in its entirety coming up in just a little bit. Right now, we want to get you ready for it, talk about that and all things URI football. To do that, we bring in Thorr, Bjorn, the athletic director of the University of Rhode Island, and also Bryant, redshirt senior running back for Rhode Island, a big factor in that game against Delaware a little more than a year ago. Thorr and Zoe, welcome to the program. Thanks so much for being with us. This is part of a series looking back on some of the classic URI football games and future shows and games. Head coach Jim Fleming will be with us to look back and also look ahead at this season, which is going to happen, we trust, as we get around the new year into the spring, and we look forward to that. We'll talk to Thorr about that in just a little bit, but first, I want to get both your guys' thoughts. A couple of things off the table before we get to the Delaware game. Great news for the University of Rhode Island since last we played football, and that is that 5 players are involved with programs in the NFL representing the University of Rhode Island. Aaron Parker, wide receiver, you're going to hear his name a lot tonight. He had a monster game against Delaware. He's with the Dallas Cowboys on the practice squad. Kyle Murphy's with the Giants, the offensive lineman. David Steinmetz, the right tackle for URI back in 2013 through the 16, went to Purdue after that. He is with Washington. Justin Burowhauser was drafted by the Patriots in the 5th round, and he is on their practice squad. And Isaiah Coulter made the 53-man roster with the Houston Texans, and right now is on injured reserve. So a long list of URI football players making their way in the NFL. Thorr, we'll go to you first. As a leader of that program in athletics at the University of Rhode Island, that's got to make you feel real good.
Oh, I'll tell you, Steve, it was amazing to go through that process, watch those guys compete all last year. Just great leaders, great players, and then to see their hard work pay off the way it did so quickly, certainly for Isaiah getting drafted, and then Aaron and Kyle, having a chance to sign quickly and then stick with those teams on the practice squad. It's just a great tribute to them. It's a great tribute to Coach Fleming and his staff and the entire team. I mean, that's not, as everybody knows, football is the ultimate team game. And if you're going to be successful, it's because there's a lot of people around you helping you get there. And those guys have done it. We couldn't be more proud of them.
And you look at this year's team as it develops, a great recruiting year once again for Jim Fleming and the coaching staff. We'll look at a transfer quarterback that comes from Tennessee, some FBS strength coming into the URI program. You got to think that projection to the NFL out of those players has a lot to do with high school players and transfers saying, yeah, I think URI is my place, Thorr.
No doubt. I mean, you look at the CAA, the CAA as a league has had a lot of kids or young men that have gone off to play professionally and again, done well. And Rhode Island's proven that, thinking back with Tyler Candolina a few years back that played for us and then finished his 5th year down at Georgia, starting down there and playing a couple of years and having a shot again. And we've proven as a program that if you want to come here, you'll be seen and you'll have a shot to make it if you're good enough to the next level. And it's what's really great is you don't want to just tell that story. You want to be able to prove it. And our guys have been able to do that. So it's really pretty special.
Without question. Zoe, we want to bring you into the conversation. First of all, thanks for representing Rhode Island so well throughout the years. You're a terrific guy. 6 foot, 220, redshirt senior running back out of Pennington, New Jersey, the pride and joy of Hopewell Valley, right?
Yes, sir.
Remember that game? 5 touchdowns. You remember that one?
I remember it like it was yesterday. I do. I was versus High Stone. That was my
Well,
first.
We're going to show highlights of that one. And 5 touchdowns. How many rushing yards did you have in that one?
Oh, about 280. I think it was about 280 in the first half.
Well, it was 254, but it gets higher and higher as the years go on, right? That's usually how it works. Hey, Zoe, when you look at some of your former teammates making it in the NFL, being on rosters in the NFL, talk about that experience. That's got to be pretty cool.
Man, it's amazing. I'm just so happy. I'm proud of these guys. I would say I'm surprised, but I can't because, we always knew these guys had it in them. Coach even mentioned, Thorr, if I call him coach.
Yeah.
Thorr even mentioned Tyler Catalina. You can't forget Dino Boyd either. I mean, there's an abundance of talent that comes through Rhode Island, and all these guys, they have something special. Isaiah, AP, Murph. Like there was always something special about these guys. So we knew they'll get a shot, and we looked how they seized the moment and just took full advantage. And I'm beyond proud of these guys.
Have you been in contact with them? If so, what do they tell you about the experience?
Oh yeah, I talk to them from time to time, man. They just said it's just they're not starstruck, but it's just a blessing to be there. And they're doing really good. They just finished out camp. Isaiah made the roster. AP and Murph didn't, but they're having great practice squad debuts, and they'll be bumped up soon. They're both hopeful, and I'm hopeful for them too.
As a college player, it's a grind, to get ready for the season all year long. Does that give you motivation? Does that add to the excitement of being a collegiate football player?
Oh, for sure. It just shows me how tangible it is. It's right there in front of you for the taking, and seeing these guys make it just gives me confidence. It gives me hope. So I'm definitely excited for the seasons to come. We got the spring and the fall because we're gonna have a spring season, and them making it brings a lot of eyes to Kingston. So they know that people can play football from our college, and they're gonna be there. So all you got to do is perform.
That is an excellent point. You're listening to the Rhody Roundtable with Thorr, Bjorn, and Zoe Bryant, getting ready to watch the Delaware game from last year, a triple overtime thriller, first night under the lights at Meade Stadium since 1972. One other topic before we get to it, guys. We plan to be 4 games into this season right now if everything had happened as we thought it would without the pandemic invading our lives and the entire world. Road games against Northern Illinois, Bryant, Villanova, and then it would have been our home opener under the lights a week ago at Meade against UNH. So all that's been put aside for a while, deferred a bit. Thorr, give us an update. Everybody's talking about the spring like it has a real good chance of happening. What's the likelihood? What's the plan?
Yeah, I feel really confident that we're going to be able to play this spring, both from the national level. I'm fortunate enough to serve on the FCS selection committee, and we've actually been working on a championship date. So then that's the end part, and then you work your way back. We're planning on a 6-game conference schedule and trying to schedule at least one more non-conference game. The NCAA has allowed us to play 8 games. I'm not sure we'll play 8. We may play 7. We'll play 8 if it makes sense. The reason is, why do you play 7 versus 8? Or why would you play 6 versus 7 or 8? It's because we have such a quick turnaround going into the fall of next year when we'll be back to normal in 2021. We certainly hope anyway. So so we're very confident. I think the protocols in terms of testing requirements are coming into play now. The fact that there is a championship season, gives a lot of people something to play for. The CAA was really pretty much all on board with the idea that it made the most strategic sense to push the season off till the spring, just because of the unknowns early on in the summer when we were still trying to figure everything out in terms of testing protocols and all the other tracing requirements and whatnot. So yeah, I feel very confident. Obviously, we could always be throwing a curveball and we'll adjust, but we promised our student athletes and all of our fall sports teams that we're going to do everything we can to give them a chance to compete. And the fact that the NCAA has moved a lot of those championships to the spring, it actually, now we give everybody a chance to compete for a national, not only a conference championship, but a national championship.
We hear about a late February start. Is that the target date right now?
That is, we're looking at probably that Saturday, if I have it right, about February 27th as our start date. The CAA schedule, I think, will start a week later than that. We are working on a non-conference game that would hopefully make strategic sense for us. But yeah, so it'd be beginning of March in terms of conference play. But the first date is actually the week before the 27th, when you're allowed to get started. And we'll be bringing the guys back to camp, 6 weeks prior to that first game for the acclimatization, and then almost the 2-a-day sessions. It'll be a little colder. Zoe knows how hot it can be here in Kingston in the summer, but at least we got the beach. I'm not sure we'll all be heading over to the beach during camp this year.
Right. Hey, Thor, one more thing, then we want to get Zoe involved. As far as practices right now, it's kind of an off-season time, even though it's the fall, given the lateness of the schedule. So when can they start to move things ahead practice-wise, and what's the schedule?
Sure. We started actually on the 21st, last Monday. So we're starting week 2 this week. And it's really based upon state and university protocols in terms of when we can start expanding our pods. Right now, we're working out in groups of five or six. And now we have more than that out in the practice field, but we're trying to control those pods into smaller areas. And as long as we're within 14 feet, each pod is 14 feet from each other, we're able to bring bigger groups together. So we're hoping that within the next couple of weeks, we can expand that out a little bit further. But that'll all be dependent upon state guidelines and university guidelines. And our coaching staff and our players have been great. They've been patient. They understand there's certain things outside our control. So it'd be hard for me to say that, hey, in 2 weeks, we know we'll be at 15 or we know we'll be at 25 in terms of bodies that can practice at one time. But I'm certainly hoping we get there very soon. It's going to be important for us. We have a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, so a lot of new staff, a lot of new players. They need to be able to do some teamwork, and we're hoping to get there certainly in the next couple of weeks, if possible.
So, different experience for you than you've had in years past. Talk about what's different about it and how you and the other players are coping with it.
Yeah, no, it's different. That's the only way I can put it. It's different. Thorr elaborated on how there's 5 pods, about 5 people and a coach, and we're broken up into 4 major groups. So it's about 25 people per group. And, it's tough. It's hard to get certain chemistry with teammates or other quarterbacks who might be in a different group. And we don't really get to go against our guys one-on-one on defense on the other side of the ball. So it's a challenge right now, but we're maneuvering through those obstacles and those hurdles, and we're making it work to the best of our ability. And to mention on campus, I think people are still, their morale is up, and they're handling it the best they possibly can. And, everyone's taking the right precautionary measures. They're staying distant. They have their mask up 24/7, but they're still enjoying their college experience. They're outside, they're on the quad, eating or wherever they may be, and they're making the most of it. And that's all you really can do.
That is terrific to hear, Zoe, and thanks for the update on what's happening on the campus and within the program as well. Zoe, September 7th, 1999. Let there be light at Meade Stadium, right? It was an awesome night. Whoa, man, talk about actual electricity. Yeah, figurative and literal at Meade with the new lights and the new turf. Talk about the weeks, the days leading up to that, Zoe, and the excitement as a player to know that you're going to be part of that special night.
Man, going back to that is, I can visual it all like it was yesterday. Everyone leading up to it, the anticipation was massive. Even the weeks prior, we're practicing at night. We're looking at the sunset and looking at the beautiful topography of Rhode Island, and we're just ecstatic, Going into that game, running out that new tunnel we got onto the new field, all the lights. It was amazing. It's a feeling I'll never forget. One of the best feelings of my college career playing football.
You're on the offensive side of the ball. You used to be a linebacker back in the day, but running back now for us. And so at the start of the game, as we see it here at Meade, the defense really went to work in a hurry. Malik Wilder, junior college transfer, wins that jump ball to get the interception on the first possession of the game for Delaware. Pat Keogh on the first 5 possessions was picked off 3 times by Rhode Island. Brandon Javier Castillo number one in tackles on the year with 108, grabs this one up the middle. Second interception for Rhode Island in that first quarter of play. And then the local guy right there congratulating Castillo, number 28, is Mamadou Mbai out of Shea High School from Pawtucket, Rhode Island. He picks it off at the goal line and gets it back in Rhody's hands. And for Zoe, for the offense, you got to love the fact that the defense keeps getting you the ball back.
Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it. When the defense consistently gets takeaways, we got to reward them with touchdowns, man. And that's what we do. You know, we toss that ball up. You see Aaron Parker there going up, getting a nice grab. We just got to keep it moving. When the defense gets takeaways, got to put points up.
Yep, it's a family affair. There's Aaron Parker with the catch from Vito Priori, and now you're going to see his cousin Isaiah Coulter grab a couple of them as Priori drops back and looks to the other side of the field. There's Isaiah making a real nice adjustment. That's something that Aaron does better than anybody. And Isaiah that time contorting his body to come back to the ball. We're going to see another Isaiah Coulter catch here for Rhode Island off the hands of Vito Priori, who put up monster numbers as the quarterback in this game for Rhode Island. That gets him inside the 5-yard line. And then they give it off to C.J. Carrick to finish things off for Rhode Island to get him on the scoreboard here with a 20-yard field goal. Carrick was 3 of 4 on the day and had a career-high 44-yarder toward the end of the game with 19 seconds to go. A little love for Zoe Bryant right here. So we're going to bump this one to the outside. Zoe, take us through it.
Yeah, man, this is our stretch play. You know, I have my line pulling on us. This play was good. Like you said, I hit the gap, bounced it out last second. I got to get that one step outside. That would have been 6, man.
Yeah. Now here's a little misdirection and a direct snap to Zoe.
Yeah, this play was 4th and inches, I'm pretty sure. You know, they stopped us on a 4th down before. And so my main focus is get this snap, direct snap, and head home. Got to get it by any means. If I could do it over again, I will bounce this ball to the outside because there was nothing but daylight.
Looked like a lot of room out there. Tough taking that direct snap, not something you do an awful lot. Is that a delicate situation?
Yeah, you know, I was just trying to catch the snap because a few years back, old teammate of mine, TJ Anderson, was in the same position. That ball went through his hands up at Albany. So
you don't want that to happen.
Not at all.
Aaron down the sideline making a terrific catch. Thorr, when you look at Aaron Parker, you and I, who sit on the sidelines and watch, we may have seen maybe the very best, if not one of a handful of best wide receivers ever to put on a URI uniform.
Oh, I'll tell you, he is so special. And the fact that he came here as a defensive player and coaches, I think the coaching staff made a really good adjustment, moving him over to wideout pretty quick because, as you say, he may be the best or certainly one of the best ever to wear a Rhody uniform. He's amazing, and his body contortion, as you said, strength, athleticism, he's going to be successful at the next level. I just know it.
Yeah, you put it in the neighborhood, he's going to go get it for you. So Amir Dorsey on the Wildcat bringing one in for Rhode Island, good for the touchdown. Rhode Island was dominant early in this game, 13-0 lead at the half, but in the third and fourth quarters, things changed a little bit. Delaware put up a couple of touchdowns in the third quarter to take that 14-13 lead. Here's a long drive by Rhode Island that really kept you in the ball game. So it started deep in your own zone, but you kept that ball for a while and made some good plays to move it downfield. A big sustained drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. We just had to keep chugging. We knew that we could wear the defense out. Delaware's a stout team, but we knew we're going to be in for a good battle, and that's what we did.
Here's Zoe. Good look at Zoe running the football, softening up the middle and allowing those big plays over the top. Vito able to step back this time and look down the field and find his favorite target over midfield. But those run plays, those dive plays, to soften up the middle, they create the opportunity for guys like Aaron over the top, right, Zoe?
For sure. I mean, you look at every game, you guys wouldn't know this, but every game Aaron Parker comes to me, he says the same thing. He says, help me, help you. So I soften up that middle. Those guys, DB's got to come down. AP takes the top off. Vice versa. AP takes the top off. They got to go prevent. And then that middle opens up. You know, it's give and take. That's why I love playing with them.
The drive continues as Zoe gets the off tackle to the left side there to get the first down for Rhode Island, keep this drive going. And Vito back to pass once again on the cross pattern. Once again, it's Aaron Parker taking it just outside the 10-yard line as Rhode Island's knocking on the door in this game against Delaware. So do you feel the excitement of this crowd? 8,000 plus, about 8,500 on hand for this game under the lights. You got to be absolutely going crazy.
Oh, definitely. I can still hear him to this day. I can hear him right here. I can hear that cannon going off.
As a player, to be part of that and looking up into that crowd and seeing everybody has to make you feel pretty good about your decision to come to URI, right?
Oh, for sure. It was the best decision of my life.
So Aaron Parker gets that. Rhode Island able to take the lead back. There's the URI militia and the band doing their part as well. And Rhody trying to keep things going, down by 3 at this point. Need a field goal to tie things up, and a big breaker gets it over midfield inside the 40-yard line for Rhode Island. Is once again, it's Aaron Parker taking it through. Parker's numbers, and we'll talk about him in a little bit, absolutely astounding. He had 12 catches for 227 yards in this game. Both of those career highs at that point for him. And then, speaking of career highs, 44-yard field goal is good for CJ Carrick. That ties it up. So that was a long way out, and your guy got it done for you.
He got it done. CJ, he's so reliable. He's grown so much over the years. He got better every year. We trust him.
Absolutely. So it goes into overtime, and this one going down to the wire. Delaware has an opportunity to get on the board first, and they do. Rhode Island gets their chance with the football, and it is time to answer for Rhode Island after Andre Robinson cashes in for them. Fury to Parker on a play action pass is going to make the difference. The point after is good. Here's a little fake on the handoff and finds Parker. And Thorr, you got to be sitting up in the stand saying, I don't believe how good our first night under the lights is.
I'll tell you, it just watching these highlights again is amazing. It's incredible. I'm in awe. Brings, as Zoe said, it brings me right back to that night, which was just incredible. Probably one of the most exciting sporting nights I've had in my entire career.
Zoe, nice little catch in the flat there and taking it in. Talk about that play.
That play, Vito just trusted me to go make a play. So he gave it out me to the flat. I handled the rest. You see here, Mary Dorsey cutting it up. He does what he does in open field, man. We were clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, absolutely. Amir can go catch it. He can run with it as well. You two guys, different types of runners. More physical guy. He can do more. You complement each other pretty well, though, right?
Oh, for sure. Smash and dash.
Smash and dash. There's the point after, and Rhode Island taking the lead. So it's up to Delaware now to come back, and they were able to do so in this second overtime, or still in second overtime now in this football game at Meade Stadium under the lights. The first time they've had lights at Meade and a new turf as well. They were able to punch this one home and connect. So Delaware now making their move with the lead late, and it's up to Rhode Island to try to cash in on the final drive of the game. Rhody not able to do it. They got close though. Missed in the end zone here, but they got the penalty, the PI there to get them the ball inside the 10-yard line. At that point, Zoe, you had to feel pretty good about your chances.
Oh, for sure. We felt great. I take these odds all the time.
Here's a little pass to Kenny, the tight end for Rhode Island, getting it inside the 5-yard line. So Vito trying to stuff one home here to tie up this game once again. Vito Priori right in the middle of traffic, and it looked like that one might have been picked off, but it fell to the ground, fell to the turf, and so Rhode Island had another chance. And on a similar play, we get a little bit of a different result this time as Vito goes more to the outside, and this one is picked off, which gives Delaware the win in a triple overtime thriller at Meade Stadium. And as disappointing as it was, and gut-wrenching that Rhode Island ended up losing the game, but it was such a magical night of football at Meade Stadium for sure. It was just fantastic. Thor, I know a lot went in before we all got there to watch that game. A lot goes into it. Fundraising for one, preparation for another, as far as putting all the pieces together. Talk a little about all the lead time and what effort went into making that night possible and nights to come possible there.
When I think about that night, I think about, the $3 million we raised, two $1 million gifts was just really amazing. People just love the program and put their money behind it. The Department of Student Affairs getting behind it, and having the funds to be able to get this project going. And I spent all last summer walking and looking at the progress that was being made. And some quick side notes, Steve, that the night, it gives me a little bit of chest pain now thinking about it. The night of that first game, it's funny, we were struggling. One of the banks of lights was not turning on. And so about an hour before game time, we had the light truck out there as the light people, the engineers are working on it, trying to fix ballast and everything else. And we're doing the ribbon cutting. And I just keep looking over to my left saying, are they get that light turned on yet? And people would ask, what's that truck doing there? I said, oh, they're just polishing the lights. We're going to be fine. So it was a little crazy. And then just before that, I walked out and up in the stands to look down on the field before we opened up the gates, and it looked like someone had gone four-wheeling on the field just because of the way the turf is built. One of our medical staff had taken the golf cart and drove all the way around, so we had tire tracks everywhere. And so just silly things like that you sit back and smile on it. You see the grounds crew out there with brooms and rakes just trying to make it look like it was supposed to look. Some great memories for sure.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the staff, and they said there were banners being hung because they came in the morning of the game. And
that's right. Oh yeah, it looked great, and it went off without a hitch. But there was a few stressful moments leading up to that point. That's for sure.
And I know, Zoe, you guys were on the practice field, patiently waiting for your opportunity to get over and work out at Meade, but they had a lot of work to do in those days leading up to that game, and you're like, come on, guys, let us get out and play a little bit there.
Man, do you know how hard it is, how tempting it is to drive by that beautiful field being built every day and knowing you can't go on it yet? It was tough, but, we were patient, and it made the moment even better when we finally got on it.
You've been on turf fields in high school and through, different levels of turf. This is the mint gold standard of sports turf that Thorr was able to procure for the University of Rhode Island. When you stepped on it at first, and as you continue to step on it, Zoe, talk about the feel of that turf compared to a lot of other places.
It just felt special, coming into this place, it was grass, a bit uneven. And then over time, like to come to this, it felt like we were a part of it. It felt we helped build this. So you feel it from the bottom of your cleats, come all the way through to the top of your head. You just feel that feeling. And running onto the field, hearing all those screams, you feel it. You feel it from your feet to the top of your head, man. It's a feeling like no other.
Well, Zoe, 21 carries in that game, 51 yards. You had 3 catches for 16 yards. You had the touchdown that we saw at the end on that pass in the flat, and you brought it into the end zone. You did a great job in that game, provided a lot of excitement for us, not only that day, but you were off to such a great start that year, nearly 500 yards before you were sidelined with injury, and hold so much promise for this year. We're excited about seeing you after the new year when you get back to football again as a team, and look forward to enjoyable days this late winter into the spring of watching Zoe Bryant and the URI Rams get after it in a world where we can all enjoy ourselves comfortably and enjoy what you've done for the University of Rhode Island. So keep working hard, keep representing us well. And right now you can sit back and relax, though, and watch the game, but shut it off after the second overtime, okay?
Yeah.
It's not a good ending. Thorr, thanks so much for being with us. Zoe, as always, thanks so much for all you do, and continued success to you. Thank you for being with us as well. Sit back and relax because the Rhody Roundtable is done. It's brought to us by Rhode Island Imaging, but the Delaware URI football game from last year under the lights at Meade Stadium is next.
Rhody Campus Classics on Your View are brought to you by Santoro Oil.